and we're heading back down the river, back towards Ayamonte, and we're preparing, obviously, to leave the river and move on towards Cadiz area. So just making our approaches to Mazagon. Beautiful. So we've had a big severe weather alert last night and today. Big thunderstorm last night. It's been raining all night, all morning. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1:30 I think now. It's been raining hard, and there's a fair bit of water running down the road here. You know, we're all fine, no issues, but it has been quite wet. It's coming down the road. Well, it's coming down off the car park over there. It's flowing down into the marina here. There's quite a bit of runoff. But we're fine in here. And I think we're through the worst of it now, don't you?
I hope so.
Hope so, yeah.
The rain has let off. But
Yeah. No, well, we've still got a thunderstorm warning. Well, it was for 12 o'clock onwards. It's about 1:30 now, isn't it? So, but the thunder seemed to be last night, really. As you say, don't know how much more is going to run down there.
check when high tide is really quick.
It's pretty high now. Look at the ramp.
Yeah, it's supposed to be at 3:05.
3:05, so we've got a couple of hours of water coming in. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Hi all, I'm Tony and this is SV Tapatya. She's a self-built J. Benford designed 31-foot 8-inch sailing dory with a junk schooner rig. I built her myself over a period of some 6 years in my backyard and documented the entire build in season 1 of this channel. After 2 months of sea trials in Denmark, we launched again in early 2024 and have since sailed well over 2,000 sea miles to southern Spain. This channel is all about the adventures of the boat and to see what can be achieved with a low-budget, self-built sailing vessel such as this. So we're off on an excursion today. There's a museum place nearby that is where Columbus left Spain to sail to, well, the Caribbean is where he sailed to, isn't it? But the Americas, shall we say. So there's a museum there. Don't know much about it, apart from I've heard that it's decent. So we're going to wander up to the bus stop, get the bus up to the next town, or the town where this place is, and see what's there. Yeah. Hey, you're on the bus, eh?
Yep.
And how much for the tickets?
$2.90 for 2 people.
2 people. $2.90 for 2 people. That's not too shabby, is it?
Take notes.
Yeah. Cheap public transport. There's an idea, people. Yeah. And see how long this bus ride takes. It's all an adventure. So we've arrived in La Rabida. Now all we've got to do is find the place that we're actually heading to. It's a very lovely green town. Bus ride took, what, half an hour? And yeah, just got to work out where we're going to now. Look at this, it's beautiful, isn't it? Nice little park. Fountains. And a lot of this tourist stuff, you know, they close down in the winter, but this is obviously still fully operational.
Well, as far as we know, so far.
Yeah, as far as we know. Yeah, but yeah, the fountain's running. Alright, yeah. The rusty La Rabida sign is still working. Yeah, big old thing. And what are the Olympic circles all doing here? What's this all about? "500 years since the death of Cristobal Columbus." There he is, the old fella. So what you got there, Hazel? Tostada with sort of tomato puree or something, puree tomato and olive oil,
And salt.
salt, yeah.
Right.
Very good. That's beautiful. So clearly I need to do a bit of reading, but it seems that the monastery played a big part in Columbus's voyage. I guess it was blessed there or something like that. I say I need to read up a bit more, but so we're in Columbus setting off country, that's very much the case. And now there's some replicas of the 3 boats that he set off with in his little fleet, and we're trying to find them.
They should be pretty easy to find. They're pretty big, I think.
I think they're smaller than you imagine, but what they also have here is lots of sort of signs and monuments to various countries in South America, which is interesting. One for our friend Danilo. Well, unfortunately this I think is as close as we're going to get. That's the replicas of the 3 ships that Columbus and his crew sailed in. But the museum seems to be shut on Mondays, which is a pesky nuisance. So dear viewers, my advice to you, if you wish to visit the Columbus Museum here, don't come on Mondays. Or at the very least, Google the opening times before you come. Oh well. So we're off on our second attempt.
Yes.
As we said, it was shut yesterday, so we're going to try and get in there today. Off we go again.
I'm hopeful.
And here we are again, on the bus again. So it is indeed open, and we've got into the monastery part. There's a story about Columbus here somewhere, and once I've worked out what it is, I'll tell you about it. This room is dedicated to the discovery of America, where Columbus discovered a place where other people were already living. And Hazel, you just said there was a tsunami here, and that somehow the building was damaged in some way.
1755, the Lisbon tsunami.
The Lisbon tsunami, which obviously they copped a bit of it. I don't see any signs of it as yet, but apparently there are some signs.
Here we have Wall 1, the seafarer and the monk. I assume this is this.
Well, they're monks, and that presumably is Columbus. They're the seafarer, is it?
Then Wall 2, the thoughts of the seafarer.
Oh, this is the thoughts of the seafarer. There's a chap thinking, look. Yes.
Then Wall 3, La Rabida, conversations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then 4, the heroic sailors of Palos. Oh, is that the heroics?
I don't know.
There's 5 walls, but there's...
Well, there's only 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 5 walls. Anyway, the 5th wall is the ship's mural.
The ship, well, that's got to be that one, surely.
Yeah.
That's the only one with ships in it. Jolly good. So we've got that straight. Must be a very old Columbus with his dog and a broken boat. So this is a church.
Yes.
The ceiling is lovely, I have to say. So this is very lovely.
The brochure says, deliciously designed. Deliciously.
Yum yum.
Deliciously designed in a popular Monastery or Franciscan style. It remained erect after the earthquake. It showed us what the whole complex must have been like before the earthquake.
Okay.
As is usual in this version of the popular Monastery, the walls are decorated al fresco, undoubtedly more accessible than vitreous ceramics.
No
I
doubt.
don't know what that is.
Glazed ceramics,
Okay,
basically.
In this courtyard, the Regent Maria Christiana signed on the 12th of October 1892 the decree for the creation of the 12th of October as a national holiday.
Oh, that was nice, huh?
There you go.
So we're in the conference room. Go on, Hazel.
Called the Bethlehem of America.
Bethlehem of America. It's a very small Bethlehem.
This is probably the place where the conversations between Columbus and Fray Juan Perez took place in purity. That's
Yes.
inverted commas.
Please notice probably.
Yeah. In these revelations by the man from Genoa to the former royal accountant, the adventure was organised.
Yes, recent DNA testing suggests he's from Valencia and not Genoa, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, they haven't reprinted their brochures. So we're hoping that this is the 15th century staircase. Apparently there are two. Yeah, this is the one, because that's the 20th century one in there. Good, we got that right. So they left on the 3rd of August of 1492. That's the departure.
That's a long time ago.
It's a while back.
I guess that's the monastery in the painting there,
Yeah,
isn't
I guess it is. That's where we are. This monastery up here. We're on the top floor. So you look out the window, you'll see them.
Yeah.
They didn't do comfortable chairs back in the days, did they? Look at the angle of that back.
Is
So
it
I
a
think
full
it's a
panel?
recreation.
No,
It's been
it's not a full panel.
distressed, isn't it? It's a recreation, but it's nice nonetheless. This is the view, is it? Out there. This is where we looked at, and there the boats are out there as well. So, that's.
Cool.
I don't know if you guys. There's a glass and there isn't. So we're going to go down to those boats in a while, and they're there. So that is what they saw. They looked out the window there, and there was Columbus and his guys, the 3 boats.
On the Huelva River.
Yeah, on the Huelva River, exactly. Ready to go off and find the Caribbean islands.
1951 to 1492. Well, it took them a long time to get to America.
Yeah, 41 years. So they're good cameras back in the day. But it says, on the morning of the 12th October 1492, they sailed from Lepe, named Rodrigo de Triana, being on top of Carvel Pinter's mast, sighted the first island and shouted such a long-awaited word, land. Oh, what a feeling that must have been. Actually, it must have been pretty incredible. And that's the sort of boat they did it in. Mainly square-rigged, 1 lateen rig sail, which must have given them, well, the faintest hint of windward ability. So little it could be discounted, I would have thought. And downwind, or on the beam they'd be fine. But of course they trade winds across there, so it was downwind once they got to the trades. So this one actually would go to Wimbledon. It's all lateen rigged.
Oh,
Lateen rigs. 45 tons apparently. Captained by Vincente Yanez Pinzon. So we've got it, yeah, here we are. This is Huelva River. We went down to the Canaries. I went across then to the Bahamas. And then, looks like Cuba. I think this is Dominican Republic, isn't it? And then from there back to the Azores and back to Portugal. So we've got 3 boats. We've got the Caravels, the Pinta and the Nina. And the Nail, I'm not sure how that translates. The Santa Maria. We've actually got in today. Hey, it's open. So people, Tuesdays to Sundays it's open. We know it. Beautiful. Oh, we can even go on. Oh, that's lovely. Look at this. That's the Pinta. Oh my word, we can go on them. I do like this, I have to say. So I can start with the Pinta. Not too sure about some of the wood. Oh look, oh this is actually really well done. Oh, I like this. It's in there. Some nice dried ham going on. Steering gear. Clearly a representation of how it would have been. I guess that's the stove, is it? Let's go. onto what I might describe as a poop deck, but I'm not 100% sure that's the correct term. Yeah. Sort of steering gear down below, but I haven't spotted where the steering takes place. There's no wheel up here. But letting aft sail, which is nicely done. Rope standing rigging, square rigs on the main and fore mast. Lovely. Doing a bit of attention, but it looks like some of the wood is rotting. So did they steer from in there then? The tiller's lashed off, but perhaps it's just lashed. Did somebody sit there and steer? I suppose so. It wasn't very big, really. Bigger than Tapatya, clearly. Look at this foredeck. Look at the slope on this foredeck. So when the mast comes through to make up for this slope. Wow. Big old bowsprit that has been fiberglassed in probably not the way it was done originally. Yeah. Still a good representation, I feel. Not on too much. No, it just gives you a real feel for it. Then we can go down below deck. So let's go and have a look. It's going to be dark, I suspect. Okay, we've got down and upstairs. I doubt we'll see much down there on camera. Or even with sunglasses on. It's lit. Water in the bilge to give it a realistic feel. Yeah. Okay, that was the Carvel, the Pinta. Then we've got over here the bigger one of the three, the Santa Maria. And this would have been Columbus's flagship, shall we say. This is quite impressive. Oh, there's somebody here. Looks like he's been there a while. Do you really think that's how they did the steering? No wonder he's holding his bag. So let's crawl up here. So get my rucksack through that little gap. Onto the aft deck. It's not the aftmost deck, it's a kind of betweeny raised deck. Got a couple of cannons, just in case. And presumably the captain's quarters in here. I don't know how well lit this will be. There he is, the old fella. Look at that. Bunk. Yeah. And come back out again, up to the aftmost deck. Getting fairly high up here, I'm sure. They felt the motion of the boat when she was rolling, going downwind. I bet this is quite a spot to be. Half nav light. That must have rolled pretty good when he was up here. All steered from down below, which of course kept the steersman it will have been, dry. But on the other hand, that person couldn't see where they're going, so I guess they were just given orders to steer the thing. Or did they look out the little hole aft? How did they steer it straight? It was down another level, wasn't it? The steering deck. Let's go down the second set of stairs, back down to the main deck, which of course is lower, so you've got less motion down here. Back in, just to remind ourselves in here of the steering position. And he's steering from there. So how is he seeing where he's going? That's quite something. I don't know how he managed that. And up onto the forward deck. Oh, no, let's go down below. I've got down below. Oh, down below. This is good. I might be going up the wrong stairs. Oh dear. It's dark down here, so. Alright. They're not that big, these ships, you know. It's big enough for a crew of reasonable size. There we go. It's down below. Representation of ship stores, obviously they'd have had more. Good high standing headroom in here. Tell us what you've learnt.
Okay, so this is the captain vessel.
This is Columbus. It's Columbus's vessel. Yes.
And it was clearly, as we can see, the biggest vessel, carried the most cargo and the heaviest, and it ran aground somewhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And so the people, it carried 40 people, including Columbus, and they transferred to the Nina, and they built the first settlement out of the wood of the ship that they left behind. So they managed to salvage most of the cargo and the people after it ran aground.
Very good. Very good. That is interesting. So we're going to go up onto the Santa Maria's foredeck. Steep stairs, but I suppose the stairs are a representation of the original. And again, quite a slope to it. Quite a slope, so if she was doing some pitching of some sort, it would have been a challenge to stay on this deck, I feel. This time the bowsprit hasn't been fiberglass. Flew a sail off that bowsprit as well, that's why the bows are so high. It's a great museum for anybody's interested in boats of these historical vessels. I like it a lot. This one's the Nina, which Columbus took as his craft after the Santa Maria ran aground and it was wrecked. And what I've noticed is that contrary to the models in the monastery, all three of these ships are square rigged with one lateen aft sail. So the one with the three lateen sails isn't here, or it's not rigged in that manner here at least. That's something to be looked into, I dare say. But again, we've got this below deck steering position, which I find very curious. If we just looked aft and saw their wake running straight behind them. Otherwise, it's a very it's smaller than it's the smallest of the three. The foredeck doesn't need climbing up on. Capstan thing there. There's no stairs up to the foredeck, it's just a small sloping foredeck. And stairs up onto the aft deck. So the smallest of the three, and we don't seem to have access below decks here. This one. If I remember the story rightly, and I only read it recently, one of the three, and I'm going to guess it was the Pinta, sort of mutinied and went off on their own. And I guess that's why Columbus, after the Santa Maria ran aground, took this one. But I'm guessing, and I need to read again. So, how many were on each boat, Hazel?
So on La Pinta there were 30 people. On Santa Maria there was 40 people, and on this one, Nina, was only 20.
Right, and then some died on the way. They suffered dreadfully from scurvy. I know they knew nothing about vitamin C and all that at the time. And so it would have been less coming back, significantly so, I believe. A little sort of ship stores thing set up here, which is quite nice, really. Exactly, we've got the three ships here again. That one's the Santa Maria. That one will be the one that he took over, the one in the middle, the Nina, and this one's the Pinta. And the Nina, again, is depicted as having all Latin rig.
Although the replica doesn't have it depicted like that.
No, there's a story there we need to find out about. Well, it must have been quite a sight for the native people there to see these three ships come in. But anyhow, the three ships arrived in the what is now the Bahamas. Went on to Cuba and around that area. Nonetheless, it was enough for them to cause some serious problems for the native people there. I think quite a few were killed. They took some as slaves. The women were taken as wives and all this sort of stuff. So it's an event that has its issues, without a question. It's kind of interesting to see it being celebrated here. Of course, the achievement of being the first, well, the first is debatable, but potentially the first people to sail what is now the common trade wind route. We know, of course, the Vikings were in Canada, North America, but they went round across the North Atlantic, the Iceland-Greenland route. So as far as we know, as far as the evidence says, these were the first people to take the trade wind route. I know Thor Heyerdahl did theorise that the Phoenicians had done it previously, and it's quite possible that these Columbus and his crew weren't the first, but you know, I couldn't judge that. But it's certainly an achievement, and to see the boats and the vessels that they did it in, obviously it's all very low tech back then, it's a great experience. So I found the answer. It says here the La Nina was Latin rigged originally, but had the issue that they didn't have any reefing possibilities. So I think it was possible that on the outward journey in the Canaries, it was transformed into the square-soled rig, the same as the other two. Possible, obviously not sure, but that answers why sometimes it's shown as a Latin and sometimes with the two square-soles. This is showing his other voyages. This is the second voyage where he come in and basically cruised the Caribbean islands. The third one, he seems to have landed in, what's this? This is Guyana or Venezuela here, isn't it? And the fourth one, he seems to have come to Panama and the Central Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, the Central American Isthmus. So he did actually set foot on the American continent, but just not in that first voyage. So we're in the Botanical Gardens here now in Rabida, and so it's a nice setup with the monastery, the Columbus Museum, and these beautiful botanical gardens.
That way is yuccas and succulents.
Yeah, good. Let's go and see some succulents then, shall we? Yeah, this is going to be good, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Love a botanical garden.
Yes, indeed, especially when they're free to get in. There's a lovely little display of yuccas here. Some big carp in here. Yeah, common carp, and I think this is a leather carp, this one here. That is a big common carp.
A couple of 2 levels, 3, 4 levels there, look. 5.
Their scales look different.
Yeah, exactly, that's the thing, isn't it?
That's so cool.
That's a good shot, isn't it? I like that. Oh dang, a big carp. Lovely stand of bamboo. Look at the size of it. Look at down there. It's a tree that I don't know what it is and it hasn't got a sign. Most of the plants have signs to tell you what they are. And look at the size of that leaf. Suriname cherry. It needs paper bark, doesn't it? That's wonderful, isn't it? That is wonderful. Look at that. What a brilliant tree. I've never seen one of them before. So we know it's a palo borracho. Latin name is Choricia speciosa, and it's from Brazil and northeast Argentina and Paraguay. Okay, and it has fruit pods with fibres in that they use for stuffing pillows and insulation. How nice! What a useful tree. Looks like that should be storing a load of liquid. There's another one there. What's that?
That is an Botanical de Queensland.
Okay, it's Australian. This is Australian as well, look. Australian pine. And then the eucalyptus at the back, so must be in the little Australian section.
Ah.
Well, I have to say that location there at La Rabida is one of the best places I've been for a long while of that sort of thing. There's 3 parts: the monastery, the Columbus Ships Museum, and the Botanical Gardens are really nice and very, very easy to spend a whole day there looking around. Great little cafe there as well. So it's got everything that you want really for a great day out. Of course, we were very lucky because we were there late in the season that there was nearly nobody there as well. So we had pretty much the place to ourselves, or us and a couple of others there. So it was really, really good. But that's it for this week. It's something very, very different from me for a video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And of course, massive thank you goes out, as ever, to the lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. I'll see you next time.